Boomers and Zoomers. Also, welcome to today's video. Today we're doing yet a retro shooter review divided into segments, and I will try my absolute darn best to help you in figuring out if this game is for you or not. So what are we waiting for? Let's do this! And today's meat on the grill is no other than the newly released solo-developed, incredibly atmospheric boomer shooter called iLLWiLL. And this game has 2 shotguns. Insta 10 out of 10 game. Or is it? Really? Let's find out. Let's begin with the story of the game. There once was a Slim. He was very passionate about covering new boomer shooters. And luckily, he had this awesome community of brats around him. That awesome community decided to gift him a game. That game was called iLLWiLL, so a huge shout out to the brat painter for the game. Excited as he was, he decided to stream his first gameplay of it, and realizing that we got another game in our hands that is without a story. And as I have said before, I love mindless killing in video games just as much as the other guy, but this game has an insane amount of interesting set pieces and enemies that just screams in my face that they want to tell me a story. But the developer decided that they would not be able to tell me one, which is a shame. And considering that this game is actually $20 on Steam, I would have come to expect a story here. Call me old-fashioned if you want to, but I like a simple story to immerse myself more into the game. But let me know in the comments, how important is a story for you? Do you care at all if there is one? Or what are your thoughts on this? Leave a comment down below, let me know. Now, it's time we dug our teeth into the juicy gameplay of iLLWiLL. Firstly, as you know, a shotgun can make or break a boomer shooter, and I'm happy to say that iLLWiLL has got you covered. You got your centered double-barrel shotgun that works and sounds like a dream up close. Then for the medium distance, you get a single-barrel shotgun that doesn't sound as good but has a great spinning reload animation, with its sights dingling as you spin the gun. And that is a detail I came to fancy quite a lot. Also, with the single barrel, you can pull off some really neat and satisfying headshots that will make the heads pop and the blood splat of your enemies. And apart from the shotties, the game does offer a good amount of guns, all with very distinct ways to fire. For example, you got this tube gun that shoots blood-sucking worms from it. And once the suckers sucked enough, they latch off their targets, and if you pick them up when they are full of your enemy's blood, they will give you health. Without spoiling every single gun in the game, there are a few of them that both sound and look a bit underpowered compared to the rest, so I found myself using these 3 weapons throughout the game until they ran out of ammo, and that's when I switched guns. Now the enemies, they do come in plenty for being a solo developed game. They will vary from puking monstrosities to robotic pigs, each with different amounts of health. In certain arena-styled areas, they will spawn in plenty and really surround you, making the gameplay feel super hectic and fast. But for the majority of the game, it's got a more slow approach, whereas I feel like the game wants you to more go with the flow, explore and take in the fantastic scenery that the game offers. Whereas a story would have been great, but no. And the level design is also a freaking winner in this game. Not only do the levels offer some very interesting and appealing design elements, which looks to be ripped straight out of a Tim Burton movie, they also offer a good mix of arena-style areas to really practice your strafe running and gunning, but also super tight atmospheric, almost scary corridors with a decent length to them. I would say on average it took me around 15 to 20 minutes to complete a map on normal, and you can save at any time. The game also throws some puzzles and secrets at you. While the secret seems to be on the easier side, as I managed to collect a lot more than I usually do in games, the puzzles on the other hand, those who were in my live stream, they know. I'm not going to bash on all of the puzzle and platforming elements in the game, but there is a certain maze that you have to get through in one of the maps. And that maze, it almost broke me completely. It's supposed to take no more than 5 to 10 minutes to get through it, but me being as stupid as I am and the maze being as complicated as it was, it took me over 40 minutes to get out of it. I never, ever want to see a maze in a video game ever again. I hate mazes, okay? Oh, I almost forgot. If you're finding the game a bit challenging, well, then you better start secret hunting, because each secret that you find will give you a 10% damage boost. However, once you jump into a new map, that 10% boost is gone, so you have to find a new secret in each map. There are a total of 3, so you can get up to 30% damage boost on each map, if you're good at secret hunting, that is. But apart from that, the gameplay is really tight. It's been well polished and it feels great. Topple that with 2 amazing shotguns that you can blast a good variety of enemies with, and I would dare to say that the gameplay segment is fantastic in this game. But that is to say that both the platforming and puzzling is absolutely nothing special at all. It goes something like this. Find that button, open that door, or jump this moving platform without falling down, and that's the majority of the game's puzzles and platforming. Now when it comes to the graphics, well, this game is using the Unreal Engine 4 to power its graphic house. And for the most part, the game looks jaw-dropping good. With its Tim Burton-inspired environments, coupled with some incredibly well done and atmospheric lighting, it turns the game into a wallpaper powerhouse. The environments really are some of the most interesting and beautiful that I have seen in a long time. But something did really throw me off here. Some parts of certain maps looks a bit unfinished. And this map right here, it looks unfinished when it comes to the texture work as a whole. I mean the whole map. At least compared to how the rest of the game looks. And I'm guessing here, but I think this is a design choice, but in my opinion, it's a weird one. We are not done with the graphics just yet, and this is turning into quite a long review, but if you like it, hit that like button. And if you like more videos like this, hit that subbly dub. Why the hell did I just say it like that? Now the weapons, they do look decent, and they have sparkles of details to them, but visually, they are not crazy enough. I would have loved to see something more crazy here when it comes to the visuals. Also, a little more effort in making them look better, pure graphically speaking. But the enemies on the other hand, well, they're bad looking on purpose, and I like it. The enemies, they have this low poly look to them, and why I like them is that it fits so well into the Tim Burton style that this game is going for. The whole blocky teeth that every enemy has, it just fits really well. And they are really squishy, filled with tons of blood that would just splat when you kill them. I love it. Now the audio in the game is a solid one. It's nothing extravagant and the ambience could have been turned up a notch, especially in the tight corridor areas. And some of the guns, they seem to have been mixed a bit low. When firing them, I could barely hear that the trigger had been pulled. While other guns had just the right volume to them. At first glance, you might think this is another heavy metal pumping game, but the soundtrack is far from that. The soundtrack is trying to immerse you with mystical, electronic and fantasy-inspired tunes pumping in the background. And for the most part, I think the music was good and it did make me go with the flow and enjoy the moment more. So, the soundtrack is a win in my opinion. Now in conclusion, I think this is a shooter with amazing gameplay, crazy good environments and a good variety of everything from levels, weapons and enemy. But I am missing a simple story and a little more uniqueness to the gameplay in each level, because every level plays out more or less the same, with find that key or button and open the door to progress. And the maze, well, the maze should just get removed completely, I hate it. But I would still highly recommend this game. However, I do think a fair price point would be around $10 to $15 and not $20 as it is now. But hey, I'm not the one to tell you what to do with your money, but I hope I helped you figuring out what you're going to do with your money, if you're gonna spend it on this game or not. And if you're looking for even more awesome boomer shooter games, well, don't miss these.